Okay, today is April 17th, and I wanted to do a little update of the garden because it looks a little bit different than it did last time I made a video. Let's say hi to Salem. She comes out and sits on the porch while I make videos. We actually found her in the yard, and we have another cat we found in the yard too, so little surprises out in the garden. So we got some new pavers from Lowe's. They actually had these on sale for 25 cents a piece. And I've been going around the old outline. We have like a little, what do they call it? Key latch, lock key pattern here. Key something. It's just so I can reach on each side of the garden. My beds, I try to keep my beds no larger than 4 feet so that on each side I have an arm span of 2 feet to reach in and I don't have to step into my soil. So we got some of those, and I've been doing some outline, and then we got some black mulch. I know it's not the best thing to use, dyed mulch, but when you're on a budget, you get what you can afford, and later on you can get the good stuff when you're already established. But we got the black mulch, laid that down, looks so much nicer. And then we went around. So this used to be, I think it used to just end right there. It's been a couple weeks, so I can't really remember. But all of that was just grass. This whole area back there was just grass. So now we have a little path. And the bags of mulch were $2 a piece. We got 12 bags. The pavers were 25 cents a piece. So it was a cheap little way to make the garden a little bit more organized. I have been using the pavers to help cover up some of my plants from some frosts that we've had. This is a shower curtain, some pavers on top of it, and I just come out and cover up my plants. You can get one of these from the Dollar Tree. Just use that to cover your plants up with a brick. So I have the blanket flower right here. Can't tell if it's doing very good. It looks kind of mangled. We have had a couple frosts. Even though this is a perennial, it's not established in the soil yet. And it was babied and coddled indoors under a grow light. So I don't think it was properly acclimated when I sat it out. And then same thing with the foxglove here. You can see the leaves have been scorched because it also wasn't properly acclimated. You can see the coneflower that I planted from seed. I know I always say this, but I'm so proud of this. I grew this from seed in 2021. So this will be the first year that I get to see this if it flowers. It didn't flower last year. Of course, it didn't flower the first year. So when these guys do flower, I'm going to be ecstatic. I'm probably just going to sit out in the garden all day and stare at it. I'll be so happy. But next to that, we have the yarrow. This is the Rose Marvel yarrow. My little bee house. Bunch of creatures in there. I need to hang that back up. It was hanging up here, and then this little tack broke. Then I took some of the ranunculus that I got from the Amish nursery, and I stuck these guys in the ground. These guys have been in here for about 2 weeks or so, and they're doing pretty good. I think it's a little bit too hot for them. Ranunculus are cold weather plants like tulips and daffodils. They like cool temperatures, and we go, like around here, we go straight from winter to summertime. I mean, we have like a week or two of true spring weather, and then it's just hot. So it's been in the 80s a lot here, and I don't know if those guys like that very well, so we'll see. Then we have an artichoke here. This has been out for about 2 weeks. Can't tell if it's doing good or not. Never grown an artichoke. Grew these from seed. So we'll see about that. I did watch a couple of videos. Gary Pilarchik, The Rusted Garden. He's pretty much the guy who taught me how to garden. His channel was so great. In one of his videos, he said that artichokes need to be subjected to temperatures at around 40 degrees for them to bloom that year. I don't know if that's accurate or not. I have no clue, but we'll see. I stuck it in the ground. We'll see what happens. The milkweed pot here, unfortunately, no milkweed. It seems like it rotted, which is crazy because usually you have trouble keeping pots moist, but this pot stayed like over moist over winter, and it just rotted the whole entire root system out of the milkweed. So this is now weeds. I think those are like forget-me-nots and some type of grass here, which is about to start setting seed, so I'm gonna have to rip that up. Then we have the chamomile looking good. We have behind there, mixed in with some snake berries, are some lavender plants. We have 2 ranunculus, one there, one there. Here's the lavender that I trimmed back, and it's just coming back amazingly. I think I had one little tiny, there's a bug on my arm. It won't get off. I think I had one little lavender flower last year, like one little microscopic looking flower, and that was it. So hopefully these bloom. I planted these from seed the same exact time that I planted the coneflower in 2021. And I always say, if you're impatient, just go ahead and buy a perennial plant, because if you do it from seed, you're gonna be waiting a couple years. So if you don't have patience, just buy a plant. They are a little bit expensive, but a lot of work goes into getting these guys to grow for a couple years before you buy them. You can see the ranunculus. It's getting a little fried from the sun. I have a couple out front, the Dollar Tree ranunculus, that are actually dead right now because they've just been fried by the sunshine out front. I think it was a little bit too harsh for them. The front of my house is I'm getting distracted because I see something awesome. The front of my house is south facing, so very intense, harsh sunlight. I cannot believe this, but these are calendula seedlings. Oh my goodness. I had calendula, strawberry blonde calendula planted here last year that I got from the nursery. And I guess it dropped some seeds. Wow, there's all kinds of seedlings. This is so awesome. I love volunteer plants in the garden. It's just such a nice little surprise when you come out and see that something's growing and it's already established and loving its little spot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 calendula seedlings. Wow. Looks like 8. And these will be the strawberry blonde. So they're not like the bright orange calendula. They're like blonde. Like reddish blonde petals. Really gorgeous. Wow, I'm so happy about that. That's so exciting. And we still have the poor rosemary here that I haven't trimmed up. All these guys are just crispy. I don't really like rosemary in food, like any culinary type dishes. They just remind me of toenails, like in your food. I don't even know why I'm growing this. It just smells good and it looks good, and it's like a perennial. And then, of course, if I ever decide I want some, there's already some in the garden. So, but yeah, they just remind me of toenails. So there's some more ranunculus over here. Have one right there. There's a big one. I just planted that the other day. And then right there, that little mass is a ranunculus also. I'm still so happy about that calendula. I'm going to be thinking about that all evening. I'll be coming out every day to check on them now. And then we have a bunch of weeds, a bunch of dandelions. I actually like dandelions. You can see a bunch out in the yard. We have a ton this year. And then over here, I don't know if you can tell, but there's a rose. There's like little divots in the soil. I planted white icicle radishes, Spanish black radishes, French breakfast radishes, early scarlet globe radishes, beets, and some lettuce. And my cat is trying to escape. Get up there. They're trained to stay on the porch, but sometimes when they know I'm distracted, they like to sneak off. Okay, so the sugar snap peas. Check these guys out. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 sugar snap peas on this side. Look how big these guys are getting. And I just direct sowed these in the ground back when there was still snow on the ground. And they came up. They can tolerate a light frost, so that's why I direct sowed them. There's only one right here, and I do have them planted on this arched trellis here because, of course, sugar snap peas are a vine, so they need something to grow up. And you can see over here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A ton of those. And then on the last cow panel arch right here, we have a ton right here. Some of them are pretty big. Check these guys out. And then a ton over here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on this arched trellis. But the reason why these are so much bigger than the others, is because when the sun comes up, if you can see that big, huge pine tree right there, so the sun is on the other side of that tree currently, and it comes up, and the tree blocks these 2 or 3 beds, but this one gets direct sunlight all day long. So I'm hoping, if I remember correctly, eventually, because the sun is down south right now, eventually, instead of being in front of that tree, it will be above, straight directly above. So hopefully all of these beds get full sun like they always have, or we're gonna have to do something about this massive pine tree. But other than that, that's the little garden update. It is April 17th, so I got about another month, a little less than a month, before I put all of the tomato plants, and maybe a little bit longer than that until I put the peppers out. But that's a little update, and if I get anything, other things in the ground, I'll do another video.